Hey, thanks for tuning in. This video is going to be a little different than ones I've done in the past. So some of the projects that I do 3D printing. I do some 3D modeling, not very good at it. I'm slowly getting better the more I do it. So I thought I'd take this time to just show you how I do some of my 3D printing. And if you might pick up something that will help you. So this is my office / workout room, and I have the problem of I've got this treadmill and there's it's a small treadmill. I've got nowhere to put my TV remote. Anytime I try to put it anywhere, it just falls off. I mean, I could put it in my pocket, but there's a better way to handle that because I've got a 3D printer. I can pretty much print whatever I could think of. So it's off to the workbench, which is full of stuff, projects. So I'm gonna do a little cleanup here and give myself some room to work. Seems like this always happens when I have a project. I gotta move everything and get everything ready. But after a couple quick minutes, I'm ready to go. So basically, I want a clip that'll be a friction fit to clip around the remote and clip around the handle on the treadmill. So right now I'm just looking at the remote, looking at the different angles and everything. And the best way that I've found to get a tight fit on something is to simply trace it. So I will trace this and get a good idea of how large the item is. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark on it which way is the top. And I'm going to take some quick measurements to see if the body of the remote flares out or if it's relatively the same all the way down. Now the software I've been using is Fusion 360. They do offer it for hobbyists for free, so I would recommend you go and download that if you haven't. So this is the channel that I'm going to have the other side of the clip. So when it's something like this, the best way I've found to do it is just do a pressing with the paper. It gets you the perfect outline. So then I just go through and I run my pen along it, fill it in as needed. Doesn't need to be perfect, just needs to be close. I mean, we're talking about when we do calibrate this in the software, if we're off by 1 millimeter, it's not going to be terrible. So this is the remote profile, and that is the handle on the collapsible treadmill that I have. So this is the first time I tried using this software to record my screen grab. This is not a tutorial, and I'm not good enough at this software to show you how to do anything. You can see by me stumbling just to create a second line. I ended up taking way too long to work on this side. But basically, once you bring in an image, you can calibrate it. So basically, I know the distance between 2 points. I tell the software, between this point and this point is 10 millimeters or whatnot, and it'll make it that size. So then I just have to trace around it with lines in the software and then extrude it out and work on it through there. Usually when I 3D print something, if I'm making something that I really need to fit or it has to be an exact size, it takes me a few tries to get it right. Usually it doesn't take me any more than 5 is usually the number. 4 or 5 tries and then it's dead on. I was actually very surprised with this 3D print. I made it in 2. So I'm getting a little bit better. Hopefully I will be able to get it in 1. So this is the clip for the handle, and that's the clip for the remote. It's not perfect, but it should be enough to fit in there. Now I did notice that if I butted them all the way up, they didn't really work out well, so I just added this filler piece. And then once the file is created, I put it over to the 3D printer, which I have a Creality CR10S. Works very nice. nicely. Sometimes you do have to resynchronize the SD card just to get it to register. Nice little time lapse. I put green painter's tape down on mine because it is a glass top, but I found that any sort of painter's tape doesn't have to be green, it can be blue. But it gives it a little bit better adhesion to print from. As long as you can get that first layer down, everything else after that works out very, very smoothly. So this is my first attempt. It took about an hour to print this clip. Now it was snug on the handle. But as you can see, it doesn't go all the way down on that handle. So it is snug, but it's not secure. But the problem I had was the remote, and this could be a slight modification with the printer too. It's just a couple of millimeters off. I mean, it looks good, and if it was just resting there, it would be okay. But I made an adjustment. I brought both sides in, and I made it a little bit wider too. So this is my second attempt. Now I'm printing this out of PETG plastic. It's a little bit more durable than PLA+. If you don't know what that means, don't worry. PLA+ is a nice material. It's easy, very easy to work with, but it will melt in the sun. I found that out when I made an item for my car. And this is a little bit stronger, so I'm hoping that it'll be a little bit more resilient. It's not as hard to work with as ABS. And then here is that friction fit. So I mean, this is a crazy little, I could have got Velcro and done this, but I didn't want to glue anything, and this clip worked out well. And I get a little bit more experience using the 3D printer. So I'm going to put this file out there, not that you have the treadmill that I have or the LG TV that I have, but maybe you do. And if you do, download the file for free, print it out. The second version of the print I think took about 2 hours, so I just set it up and checked the next day. But now I can jog safely on my treadmill and change the channel and don't have to worry about the remote falling. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will try to at least do one 3D print related video per month. So if you guys have any ideas on what you would like me to try to design and print, I will give it a go, as long as it's not too complicated, and I will try to supply the 3D print file for free. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and until next time, thank you for watching.